Why do some power companies deliver reliable electricity, high efficiency, and strong financial results, while others face outages, cost overruns, and penalties? The difference is very simple. They track the right KPIs. And in this video, I will break down the top 15 power and utilities KPI that every FP&A and operations leader must know. Before we jump into the KPIs, let us first quickly understand how this industry operates, because each of the KPI maps directly into a stage into the electricity value chain. The power and utility company usually operate across these three core functions. The first one is the electricity generation. This is where the electricity is produced. It could be thermal electricity, hydro, solar, wind, or nuclear. KPIs like the PLF, heat rate, forced outage rate, and cost per are important here. The second stage is the transmission stage. This is where the electricity travels across long high voltage lines to various substations. KPIs like the transmission loss, grid availability, and SAIDI or SAFE come from here. The third and the final stage is the distribution of electricity. This is where the electricity is delivered to the end consumers at usable voltages. KPIs like the AT&C loss, billing efficiency, outage hours, and customer complaints belong here. This industry has extremely thin margins, high regulatory pressure, and massive capital requirements. So KPIs matter more here than in almost any other industry. Now that we understand how the power sector works, let us dive into the KPIs. Starting with the heartbeat of every power plant, which is the plant load factor, also known as the PLF. The PLF or the plant load factor measures how effectively a plant's capacity is being utilized. The formula is taking the actual generation number of units, dividing it by the maximum possible number of units generation. For FP&A, a high PLF reduces the cost per kWh and improves profitability. The power and utilities KPI number two is known as the heat rate or the efficiency. The heat rate or the efficiency indicates how efficiently the fuel is converted into electricity. It is calculated by taking the fuel energy input and dividing it by the electrical output. For FP&A, a lower heat rate is equal to higher efficiency and lower fuel cost. That is the biggest cost driver in the thermal plants. KPI number three is the forced outage rate, also known as the FOR. The forced outage rate tracks unplanned shutdowns. It is calculated by taking the forced outage hours and dividing it by the total operating hours. For FP&A, the unplanned outages reduce revenue and increases maintenance cost. That brings us to our power and utilities KPI number 4, which is known as the cost per kWh generated. It measures how much it costs to produce each unit of electricity. It is calculated by taking the total generation cost, dividing it by the number of units generated. For FP&A, core profitability KPI is this one, which is used to negotiate terms and PPAs. Next on our list is the KPI number 5, which is the renewable versus the non renewable mix. This shows progress towards sustainability and long term energy transition goals. For FP&A, this impacts capex planning, carbon compliance, and investor perception. We have already covered the top 5 electricity generation KPIs. Now, let us move to the electricity transmission KPIs. Power and utilities KPI number 6 is the transmission loss percentage. This measures electricity loss during high voltage transfer. It is calculated by taking the energy sent, subtracting the energy received, dividing it by the energy sent. For FP&A, lower losses improve efficiency and meets regulatory requirements. On a quick side note, if you are serious about growing your career in FP&A, then do check out our Certified Global FP&A Professional Program. CGFPA is a 6-month accredited certification in FP&A designed to help you become real business partners. If that sounds something you would be interested in, links are in the description. Also, there are a bunch of free resources that you can download on FP&A, including books and free courses. You will find all the links in the description. Next on our list is the KPI number 7, which is related to system reliability, also called as the SAIDI and SAFE. Here, the system reliability is measured using SAIDI, which is how long the outages last, and SAFE, how often the outages occur, making them the gold standard KPIs for the grid performance. For FP&A, weak scores here translate into regulatory penalties, lost customer trust, and forced capex to fix aging infrastructure. Next comes KPI number 8, which is grid availability, which measures the percentage of time transmission assets are up and running. It is calculated by taking the uptime divided by the total time. For FP&A, higher availability means fewer bottlenecks, smoother energy flow, and better asset utilization without congestion related costs. Next is KPI number 9, which is the transmission line utilization, which shows how much of the line's rated capacity is actually being used in real operations. For FP&A, it helps balance risk and efficiency, avoiding costly overloads while signaling when grid expansion capex is truly justified. Power and utility KPI number 10 is the capex to asset base ratio. It shows investment in grid modernization relative to its current assets. It's calculated by taking the capex number and dividing it by the total asset base. For FP&A, a higher capex ratio signals future growth, too low indicates aging infrastructure. After looking at the electricity generation and transmission KPIs, the next set of KPIs are related to electricity distribution. Let us take a look at it one by one. KPI number 11 is the AT&C losses. AT&C losses capture both technical losses and commercial leakages, making them the single most critical KPI for distribution utilities. For FP&A, even a small reduction here has an outsized impact on profitability and cash flow, often delivering returns faster than the new capacity investment. Next up is our KPI number 12, which is the distribution loss percentage. Distribution loss percentage measures pure technical losses in the low voltage network by comparing energy input with the energy actually sold. For FP&A, it pinpoints weaker feeders and overloaded transformers, guiding targeted maintenance and capex instead of blanket upgrades. Coming to our KPI number 13, which is billing efficiency, also known as collection efficiency. This tracks how much billed energy is actually being collected. Collection efficiency is calculated by taking the amount collected divided by the amount billed. For FP&A, this directly drives cash flow, working capital, and liquidity. Next one on the list is KPI number 14, which is the customer outage hours, which measures the total outage hours experienced by the customers. For FP&A, high outage hours results in lower satisfaction and increased regulatory scrutiny. That brings us to our final KPI on this list, which is the customer complaints per 1,000 users. This shows the volume of complaints received. It is calculated by taking the number of complaints, dividing it by the total customers into 1,000. For FP&A, a strong indicator of success quality, system reliability, and consumer trust. These 15 KPIs cover the entire electricity value chain from generation efficiency to transmission reliability to distribution performance and also customer satisfaction. FP&A team uses these metrics to answer very crucial questions like, are the plants running efficiently? Is the grid reliable? Are losses under control? Are customers satisfied? Do we have enough capex for modernization? All right, let's do a quick recap. We first talked about electricity generation related KPIs, which included the PLF, heat rate, forced outages, cost per kWh, and renewable non renewable mix. Next, we move on to electricity transmission KPIs like loss percentage, SAIDI and SAFI, availability, utilization, and capex ratio. And finally, we moved on to the distribution KPIs, which included the AT&C losses, billing efficiency, outage hours, and complaints. If you track these KPIs consistently, your electricity and utilities company becomes more efficient, reliable, and financially sustainable. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the top 15 electricity and power industry KPIs, then do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more FP&A videos. Also, let me know in the comments below which other industry KPIs you want me to cover in the next video. Also, don't forget to check out a bunch of free FP&A resources, including books, courses, and cheat sheets. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.